Hello everyone, welcome to New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. Excuse the mess. I've literally just finished for the day olive picking. It's 5:30 in the evening and I've just noticed I seem to have caught so much colour. It's very hot. It's extremely hot out there. I'm doing really well with the cutting, the picking rather, of all the olives. I'm nearly there. But don't think it finishes there, because as soon as I finish picking them all, I then have to go back to the first tree and start trimming out all the growth that has come up the middle. And boy, is there a lot of growth. You would think I've never trimmed my trees. That's how bad it is. I might actually go out tomorrow and film some of the innards to show you just since last year how much grows up in the middle. It's like, imagine going on someone's land and you see all these olive trees that haven't been tended for years and years. That's what they look like. And I only trimmed them back last year. So, yes. So for me, it's not over soon. It will be some time yet. But at least I'm not on such a time constriction with that, as long as it's before the spring and they all start blossoming. But obviously I want to get it done. And this is why I've not been on barely any channels. Normally I do visit most of your channels, but I just haven't barely been there. I was on another live just prior to this. In fact, I was so into the live chat, and basically I saw I had 2 minutes before my live began, so I didn't even have time to say goodbye. I just headed over here. So yeah, I will be back with you, but obviously I want to finish the olive picking and start cutting all the trees back. So I will be back on your channels, but I'm not on them. I said yesterday I don't tend to watch YouTube in the evenings because that's my time with Mike. So I will be back soon. Hang on in there. Okay, so let's start today. I actually didn't do this last week. What didn't I do? This. And I just left the building. That was good. I just got back. It was only on my shelf over there. I've got my new book I'm reading, but I always show you the book I was reading, so I had to just grab it. So it's Carol Fraser, The Trustees. Now, when I read the back of it, if you want to know what it's about, then obviously go back to previous lives. And I thought it sounded okay. And when I didn't do my review last week, I was near the end and I was thinking this might actually be a 10. Might actually be a 10. It was one of those I wanted to keep reading, but I was busy. So I did take Sunday to just sit and chill and do something else that you'll see in a minute and read my book. And I finished it. But it's not quite a 10. It's a good 9.5. Why is it a good 9.5? Well, because it just suddenly ends and doesn't. I don't want to spoil it for you in case you go and read it, but all what happens, and then it doesn't say so what they did. It tells you what's happened, and let's say it's not this, it's nothing to do with this at all, but let's say it's like the story's building up and someone's going to propose and they propose and that's it. It's like, well, do they say yes and what happens? It just doesn't finish it, although I think you're supposed to use your brain, and I've assumed something happens. And I can't really say much more without spoiling it, but do read it. Go to your library, order it if it's not there. I highly recommend it. It's an easy read. but there's lots of different things happening and it all links up, and it is a good book. So I'm going to give it a good 9.5, not a 10. Oh, it came so close. I want like another book, like a second book, and there isn't one. Yeah, there isn't one, but I kind of want a second book. That's what I want. And we have in the house BC Treasure Trail. So what am I reading now? I did have this ready to show you, but I had to give you the review of the one that I'd last read. So I've just picked it up. These are still all books my friend gave me that she doesn't want anymore. And when I read them, if I like them, they go on my proper bookcase as a keep. If they were okay, or, well, that was a good story, but I wouldn't really want to read it again, then they go to my guest and my volunteers, and they can take them away. This one is called Inside Marbled Halls by Anthony Masters. And as it says on the front, the upstairs, downstairs in the great era of the Grand Hotel. And I just love that picture. Super picture. And it says, the heyday of the Grand Hotel, the gloriously extravagant era of lavish balls and sumptuous banquets, of Maharajas and great tycoons, of debutantes and Hollywood film stars. Inside Marbled Halls, the story of Mary Schieffer, the young Dublin girl who in 1916 was rescued from the white slave trade and went to work in one of the most fashionable hotels in London, the Hyde Park Hotel. Mary was to return within the hotel's marbled halls until her death over 60 years later. Although only a chambermaid, she became the confidant of the rich, the famous and the exotic. Queen Mary, the Prince of Wales, Rudolph Valentino, Winston Churchill all became her intimates. A unique and vivid portrait of a vanished era of life above and below stairs, and of Mary who saw and served through it all. So could be good. It's not a very thick book. What's the print? Oh, quite small print though. Quite small print. So I will review that next time. I don't tend to read the review things now, so I will just read that and tell you how it goes. I don't think it can beat my last book. That was pretty good, really good book. Okay, let's go on to this. Okay, BC Treasure Trail says, I smashed the like. I'm off to eat breakfast. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So last week, you would have seen that I now use my cross-stitch bag I made to be my embroidery bag. So that is anything that isn't cross-stitch. I know cross-stitch is a form of embroidery, but you know I've got files and boxes and crates full of cross-stitch. That's what I do. Embroidery is new to me. So what I showed you last time, so it makes a bit of sense. I showed you this. This was when I got an auction win, and there was one embroidery set there. If you want to see that, look at last week's live. And oh, dropped it on the floor. That's twice I've left the screen today. And I was saying to you how I was going to try and practice all embroidery stitches, and this card came with a gift from a viewer on my channel that is an embroidery kit. Just trying to find where the kit is. Kit is my cat. So there was this kit that I was gifted as a surprise gift. And it's embroidery, so I need to learn embroidery and do it. And I also have this book. It's only thin. It's 100 embroidery stitches, and this was again in the auction win that I got. I won 2 lots of cross stitch, and there was some odd things. So I'm slowly going through this to practice different cross stitch stitches. And you would have seen the first one I practiced was all the stitches that are for that kit. And the numbers relate to the numbers in that little embroidery book of 100 stitches. So if I do one and I like it, I'm not very good at remembering the names of stitches and that. I can just look at the number and go, oh, I want to use that one. And then obviously for now, I'm going to have to keep remembering how to do it. Now, these are my very first tries. So do forgive if anything doesn't look quite right yet or is not correct. This is just my very first practice of the stitches. And there's some already I look at, I think, oh, that would be good for a line, or that would be good for this or that. And I have now done some more in the book. And I actually like these ones. I don't know how well you can see it. So we have number 1. Let me get the book and tell you what it is. I've got a question for you all. If you do embroidery, can you tell me, can you draw on your fabric to make, like, say, 2 parallel lines, for example? And if you can draw on your fabric, what do you use? I've got tailor's chalk, but I don't feel that's fine enough if you want to do really good, like, lines. So, for example, number 5, the pink bit, I'd want to draw 1 line, so I don't want a thick line. Anyway, number 1 is stem stitch, supposedly. Do forgive me if they're not how they're supposed to look, but that's how I've done it. Number 3, I like the look of that. That's laced running stitch. Now I can see already with that, I need to work out how to even things up. Obviously, they're not very even. I like number 5 very much. That is supposedly Pekingese stitch. As I say, forgive me if it's not how it's supposed to look, but that's how I've done it. Number 6, that doesn't look very promising. Number 6 is supposed to be cable stitch. Now, that doesn't look quite right to me to how it looks in the book. Number 7, and I'll laugh if you do embroidery and you look at this and think, really, Dawn? Number 7 is supposedly overcast stitch or trailing. That would be okay on a line. Maybe the bike tires, I might use that. I'll see. Number 8, now I put a cross next to it because it meant I had so much trouble doing it. It's probably not right. That was supposed to be Portuguese stem stitch. So I gave up with that one. Did I say 7? Yes, 7's the overcast stitch. So I'm going to slowly work through the book. As I say, it won't be 100 stitches because the last few in the book are when you have different sorts of fabric and you've got like this and you catch certain amounts of the fabric. So I'm not going to do any of that sort of stitch. I'm not going to do those. I don't need those yet. So those kind of grab so many threads. And the other thing is, I'm guessing that you want to use, say, 2 bits of floss. Would I be right? I know if you have, you can use more or less, but I think I might average out and do maybe 2 bits of floss for each thing, or maybe even 1 if I want a really fine line. I need some help from any of you that do embroidery. So I want to know what you can draw on your fabric with. And is there any way to make your like the loops in the lace stitch anymore. How you can work out how to keep it more even. What else did I want to know? Yeah, just basically any clues. Any clues, as I say, total beginner of those. So let me know any info you can. Okay, let's go on to this. Have some jokes for you today. First one, where do they make mediocre goods? At the Satisfactory. That is my sort of joke. Where do they make mediocre goods? At the Satisfactory. Okay, next one. What's the last thing you go? What's the last thing to go through a bug's mind as he dies on your windshield or your windscreen, wherever country you're from? What's the last thing to go through a bug's mind as he dies on your windshield? It's butt. I went on a once-in-a-lifetime vacation. Never again. Parallel lines have so much in common. It's a shame they will never meet. That's good. And that so goes with what I was just talking about. And the last one. What did Batman say to Robin as they approached the Batmobile? Get in the car. Oh dear. Oh, and I've got something to tell you. A funny thing. So we're keeping this segment. Today I was out picking the olives and this man walked along the fence, along like outside my fence. And he's like, oh, hello there. I went, oh, hello, because we don't get strange people wandering around here. I was like, hello. And he went, have you ever dressed up as a goat? I was like, what is he on about? He's a really strange man. And he said, have you ever dressed up as a goat? I was like, no. And he said, would you ever dress up as a goat? And I was like, well, not really, no. So he said, oh, I'm sure you would. Wouldn't you dress up as a goat? So I was like, no. He goes, well, you could. He said, why don't you dress up as a goat and then go running around the village, making the noise of a goat, and then see if anyone realises you're not a goat. What's this strange man on about? So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. He said, go on, he said, dress up as a goat and go running around the village, make the noise of a goat and see if anyone says anything. I said, no, I'm not doing that. And he said, I'll give you a bottle of wine if you do it. Tempting. So I said, no, I'm not doing that. Anyway, Mike came home and I said to him, oh, there was this strange man. And he said to me, will you dress up as a goat and go run around the village, make the noise of a goat and see if anyone says anything? And I said, he said he'd give me a bottle of wine if I did it. He goes, you wouldn't do that, would you? I said, no, I wouldn't do that, no. Did you like that? How many of you believe that story? What was doing the story? I wonder. Let me know in the comments below. Giving you my garden update already. I'm picking the olives, 86 olive trees, I haven't got much more to do. I say that the big trees, what I've got left, I've got 2 really big trees to do, and then I will be done. But then, as I say, I have to go around and cutting all those. In other garden news, I'm now growing 3 mangoes. 3 mangoes. I've got 3 seeds because Mike thought I was enjoying doing them. So he bought me a 3rd mango from the shop so I could open it up and get the seed out. And as I've said, I am going to share a video with you to show you how to start growing a mango and what the inside of mango looks like. It is awesome. You would just never guess what. I would say it's almost like a crab shell or a clam shell inside, and it's massive. It's probably about that big in the middle of a mango. It's flat, but it's like a purse, and you have to prise it open, and then this really big, about that size, mango seed is inside, and it's a strange shape, a bit like a type of broad bean, but bigger than that. But this 3rd one, when I opened it up and got the seed out, the seed was already growing. I was like, oh, this is quite amusing, very amusing. So yeah, that's basically all I have to tell of my garden, and no updates other than my next post on this channel will be my garden diaries. It's a new series I've started doing, and I did October. There's a garden diary for October, which is lots of little segments of different, lots of different things I did in my garden. And now I'm posting the November one. So it's not the olive picking, it's just before I started the olive picking, what else I've been doing in my garden. So it's like a garden update, but a bit more bits and pieces and what's been happening, and my big project before I started picking the olives. I've got so much to do, no volunteers now, and all the big jobs. Now is the time, but no volunteers. So that's basically what I've been doing. Let's go on to this. So today I thought we would play this one again, top 5. I do have an idea for another game to play with you, and but I need to get some things sorted out first, and maybe next week we'll try it and see if it works or not. Okay, so if you want to answer any of these, always drop a comment. The first one is name your top 5 happy sounds. Top 5 happy sounds. I like to hear the cats coming in, like I've been picking the olives. I like to hear or see the cats come in, and they like to sit with me. The funny story about Kit. Kit was so funny. Yesterday he came down to find me, and this is his first year with us with the olives. So he came to sit with me, and he'd sit right next to me. He's got thing he has to sort of sit and almost touch a leg. And then, of course, I'm moving round. So I move along a little bit. He gets up, moves along next to me, and sits down again. And this goes on for some time. But when I've picked a few in an area, I move along a bit. And then he gets up, moves along, sits down next to me. But he did that several times. And then all of a sudden, when he lays down, he sort of throws himself on his side. He makes a big thud. And he got fed up. We keep moving along. So he got up and threw himself down on his side. Now, that normally means come and stroke me. Look how lovable I am. So I went and stroked him. Anyway, today he came and found me, and he started doing that again. And he did it until he got to a point where he was in the shade, and it's so hot down there. He just like laid there in the shade then. I thought that's all right. And then when I get a handful of olives, I put them in the bucket. It makes quite a noise with them all dropping in the bucket. And he walks over, looks at the bucket, looks in, and goes to get in it to make a bed in the bucket. No. Anyway, then what he does when he wants attention, he puts his paws up on you. He stands on his back legs and puts his paws up, and that means please pick me up. That means please pick me up. So that was really sweet. Yeah. So Kit's been down with me, and that's definitely a sound I like, is when the cats come, or I see them coming or hear them coming, because some of them quite thundery when they arrive. And yeah. Okay, so we got to say hello to Blue Self-Reliance. Blue is in the house. So in the house we have the Astute Tourist. And the Astute Tourist is dropping URLs. I don't know what they're for, but there's URLs there for something. What are the URLs for? There's 2 URLs there, and they've both got a question mark in them, which is interesting. How bizarre. Do tell us, Jimmy, what the URLs are for. Okay, so we're doing a question. What are your 5 happy sounds? What are your 5 happy sounds? What are your 5 happy sounds? So one is the cats coming. What else? Do you know what I do like is this live, because I do different countdowns and different intros to all my lives. This one, the New Beginnings, pre the countdown, it's the coming soon and then the countdown. So as soon as you watch this live, that's the bit I'm talking about, and it says coming soon or something like that. New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus, coming soon, or StreamYard starting soon, something like that. It says that music, I really do like it. I'll have to look up what it is. I have to look up what that one is, but yeah, I do like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to chat with my friends. And so, yeah, that's a happy sound right now. So if you want to hear it, it's the beginning. Oh, let me just play it. We just play it. This will confuse anyone who's suddenly coming on now. Be like, what? What? Need to find it to play it though. See, now normally I queue these things up before I start. Let's see, it's not that countdown. Ooh, let me see. After there. Oh, it's here. This one. No, it's not that one. Yes, it is. This one. This. come into the live, I think, oh, Dawn's late again on her live. No, I was playing the music. I was sharing the piece of music there. Okay, so in the house we have Steve and Tina Jules. In answer to Blue's question, yes, the message is up, Blue. It's fine. It's fine. The astute tourist is answering the question, what are your top 5 happy sounds? And the astute tourist says, crickets on a summer's night, music, the sound of my wife's heartbeat. Lovely, lovely answers there. And anyone who missed my last announcement, I'm barely on any YouTube at the moment because I'm picking my olives. So I'm picking my 86 olive trees, and therefore I don't have barely any free time right now. The evenings, I don't watch YouTube. It's my time with Mike. So if I'm absent from your channels, then you'll know why. And as soon as I've finished picking them, I've got to cut them all back, which I talked about at the very beginning of this live. So just so you know where I am. And if anyone's missed the beginning of this live, do go back and watch it. There's something really funny, but I can't tell you what it is because it will spoil it. Okay, the astute tourist says the dinner bell. Oh, that's bad news for me and Blue at the moment. Oh. Okay, let's do the next question. Your top 5 most embarrassing moments. Your top 5 most embarrassing moments. Oh, well, mine's got to be my donkey story when we were at a holiday camp and they had what used to be called the donkey derby, and they would line donkeys up and the children would go on them in a row. It'd be like a horse race, and you got a prize if your donkey was first. And I had my nan with me because you had to have an adult like holding the donkey before the race. And as the donkey owner was there, like looking after the donkeys, and he started giving my donkey polo mints, like a type of mint. And my nan's like, oh, why are you giving this donkey the mints? And he said, oh, that little girl, she's such a quiet little girl. That was me. She's such a quiet little girl, and I think she needs to win the race. And if you give a donkey mints, strong mints, they don't like it and they run. And so he gave it to the donkey just as the race was about to start. And my donkey ran. I've never seen a donkey run so fast. It was trying to get away from the heat, I suppose, of the mint. And I came straight off the donkey because I wasn't expecting it to run. I was about, I don't know, I'm going to guess I was 5 or 6 maybe, and it just ran. I fell straight off, and in the biggest pile of donkey poo you have ever seen in your life, and it must have had some problem, the previous donkey that had left it, because it was nasty, it was wet, it was smelly. Obviously I was on holiday, so my mum had a lovely dress on me, lovely new dress for the holiday, and it was all in my hair. And you'll recall my hair was tight ringlets, so it wasn't a case of just get out your hair. And my nan took me back to my mum and dad, and I was crying all the way, and I wasn't a child that cried over things. And this is why you will never see me go on a horse. You will never see me go on a horse. And yeah, that's my donkey story. Oh, Mr. Jimmy's laughing. Jimmy says, asking a woman when she's due and she's just overweight. Oh my gosh, people ask me that all the time. Yes, truly. Steve and Tina say, forgetting my name when I first stood up in front of the class to give a lesson. Oh, bless. That's a good one. Jimmy says, calling someone a different name other than their real name. This is another one for me. I can't recognise people's faces anymore, especially if they're not where they should be. So if you know someone from somewhere and then you see them out and about, I can't work out who they are. I know we can all do that. You meet someone like, oh, where do I know them from? I just can't recognise people unless they're in their situ of where I know them from. So if any of you suddenly come to Cyprus and go, oh, hello, and I'm like, I blank you, I don't know who you are. You're not in your right place. So that, and I did it recently. Me and Mike were out in Limassol, and we were sitting somewhere, and this lady walks past. She said, oh, and she just kept walking, but hello. And I'm looking, thinking, is there someone behind me? No one's sitting behind where we were sitting. And I'm like, is she waving to me? Yes, she's waving to me. Got no clue who you are. Anyway, long and short of it, Mike didn't turn around quick enough in time to see, and she was like walking quite fast, obviously had to be somewhere. So I kind of describe her. Mike said, I think I know who that is. It's Paniotis, and she's a Cypriot lady, and she works in a petrol station. Now, I don't often go with Mike when he's getting petrol, so I didn't know. I know of her. If I saw her there, I know who she is, but I didn't recognise her out and about. And anyway, Mike said, oh, I'm sure that must have been her by the way I describe her. She's quite different looking as well. So anyway, next time I went to the petrol station, I was with Mike, and I said to her, was you waving to me in Limassol? And she said, yes, I was. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, Mike said afterwards it was you, but I can't recognise faces. She said, don't worry. She said, a lot of people, I know them coming backwards and forwards to the petrol station, but they don't kind of think of me out and about out of the petrol station. So where are we? So yeah, calling someone a different name, yes. Or we'll be talking to people. You know how people come up to you in the street, say, oh, hello, and start talking. And I've tried to say to Mike, if someone comes up, try and throw in something in the conversation so I know who they are, but he always forgets. Anyway, so they talk, and nothing, no clue in the conversation. And then they go after a 10-minute conversation. And I say to Mike, well, who was that? And he's like, I don't know. Oh, dear. Steve and Tina say, daughter's teacher. Oh, daughter's teacher last 3 times tried to ignore me. Name and face forgetting as well. Yeah, it's awful. Astute Tourist says, Dawn, I wore the lanyard you sent me during our cruise. Thank you. Oh, bless you. I did see it. I've seen 2 of your video. I was on your live, wasn't I? Your last, no, one before last live of when you was there. So yeah, that's great. Showing up for a meeting and being told that it's tomorrow. Worse than that, it was yesterday. Yes, anything like that. That's a good one, Jimmy. That's a really good one. Jimmy says, smash that like button. Thank you for that, Jimmy. Oh, and if you're still there, Blue, and you're listening, because I know you said you got a problem with your internet, I did the screen share thing, and got that. Pictures, it's not coming up down the bottom. So we're getting there. Ignore me, everyone else. Oh, dear. Okay, next question. Ways of relaxing. Well, mine's going for my walks, which I can't do You'll be pleased to know, if you saw one of my recent community posts where I showed the strapping that isn't strapping on my foot for my tendon issues, ligament issues, and my fracture on my foot. If you saw that, I've tried to explain what it is on the foot, but anyway, and it was black, this stuff. Well, I've now got fluorescent pink. Ooh. I did say I thought it was an odd colour that they made it in black. I guess it's, I suppose so, if men have to have it or something, they can wear black socks, and because it does come out the top of the sock, so it's about that much up my ankle, but it's on my foot and then up there. Maybe I'll do a picture of it and share that on my community post and go, now it's fluorescent pink. Oh, the Xbox. That's got to be Steve. That's got to be Steve saying that. What's your favourite game, Steve? Not that I know many of the games now these days. I do. I do. I probably haven't played it for a year. I got it through, I used to say StreamYard, Steam platform. And it was I got it for about €3. It was a special offer. Stardew Valley. Oh, do any of you know Stardew Valley? If you don't know the game Stardew Valley, you got to look it up. That's my favourite game because you can do anything. You don't have to. I don't like games where you have to follow a format, or I like things where you can go anywhere and do anything. It's kind of like a cartoony Sims, but not really. So if you don't know Stardew Valley, look it up. And I love the music. I've actually downloaded all the music from Stardew Valley, so love that. Stutra says, speaking of meetings, I must prepare for a technical review meeting in 15 minutes. Wow. Take care. Have a great day. Nice to have work. Those who work don't like to work, and those that don't work would like to be able to work. Maybe. Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is the game. Battlefield 1. Yes, so what was the question? Ways of relaxing. I do like reading. I like cross stitch, but now I'm liking embroidery. I kind of want to get on with that now. Are you guys like that? That something like the embroidery, I do other things and then, oh yeah, I must do a bit more of that. But now I can't do that because I've got to do the olives. I want to do that. Or the garden. I'm like, oh, I'd like to do the garden, but I've got to do the housework. And then, but when I can do the garden, I always look for something else. It's not procrastinating. It's just whatever I'm doing, I want to be doing something else. I think at the moment there's so much to do in the garden. I've got so much. That project I started where I'm digging out and re-landscaping, I thought, oh, well, I'd start that because I had 3 pairs of volunteers to come. And I thought, well, I'll start it and just sort of see how it's going. And then they can get on with that. That's a job they can get on with. And I don't have to keep checking they're doing it right and okay. And now they're not coming, I've kind of got the start of a big mess in the garden, but I can't get to that. I want to also continue building up my raised beds. They all need refilling. And because I've shifted the hugelkultur beds, I need to shift more of those and get on with that. Oh, there's just so much gone. I want to start sowing some seeds. Oh, yes, it's kind of, I used to do that with my taxes in England because I was mostly self-employed all my working life. I had to do all my own accounts and taxes and all that. And I did procrastinate with that. I used to think, right, at the end of every month, I'm going to keep everything up to date. It doesn't quite work because you think, oh, I hate bookwork, as in bookkeeping and accounting and paperwork. Any paperwork like that, I just dislike that. So I would always find something else to do, and I'd always end up with the most tidiest, beautiful, clean house. But then I think, oh, what can I do now? So I'd do a job that you just don't normally do in the house. Let me think. Go and clean all the light switches and the doorknobs and the skirting board. Clean all that. Oh, I used to have such a lovely house when it was time to do the accounts. So I'll just do that. I'll just do that. Oh dear. Okay, let's do another question. I think we might have done some of these ones. They're on the top though. Name your top 5 reasons for parking illegally. Top 5 reasons for parking illegally. As I said earlier, I have a plan for a game next week. Might work out, so we'll see. Reasons for parking illegally. The wife's about to have a baby. That's a good one. I'm a policeman. I'm an ambulance. I'm a fire engine. I don't. No, I don't either. No. Mike doesn't do anything wrong driving. He won't use his phone. You should see things though. What you do see, people eating their dinner, going along. Just weird things. Weird things. No hands on the wheel, all sorts. But Mike does nothing. He wouldn't use his phone. And what I want to know is, I watch a lot of American YouTubers and they all seem to film themselves in their cars and they're looking at the camera all the time, in respect of you can't use your phone, but surely if you're filming, that's using your phone. And some of them start filming in the car while they're driving, so they have at least gone on their phone while they're driving. So yeah, they should make that a thing on YouTube. One of the things you can complain about a channel, you should just have one breaking the law, basically. I think there's here you're not allowed to use your phone while you're driving. I'm pretty sure a lot of countries are like that. There's definitely some American states, if not all, I don't know. I don't think all of them yet, but there's definitely some. Park up the camper for a night now and again to sleep in. Is that illegal then? Is that illegal? Yeah, I know England has stopped. What do you call it? Like, it's not called rural camping, is it? What's the word for it when you just camp somewhere, like sleep in your car or your van or whatever overnight? It's illegal now in England to use a camper or tent or caravan, any of those things. It's illegal to park anywhere and sleep unless it's a bona fide campsite now. So you can't go in a lay-by or anything. So that's really limited. What's it called? It's not wild camping. That's it, wild camping. It's illegal to do any form of wild camping in England now. You can only camp in a bona fide campsite. Now, Europe has, I think they're called airs, and it can be anything from a car park right down to, it's not a campsite, but they can have some facilities like the water. Oh, I've got bad back. I just got to move. You get water there. You can empty your toilets and things like that. They're called airs and they're free. You don't pay for them. So if you're traveling through Europe, particularly France and Spain, you can stop at airs. See too many phone users in Las Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a thing here for a while, but I don't know if it took off, that they were saying if you're a passenger in a car and you're overtaking someone and you see them on their phone or eating or reading while they're driving, any of these sorts of things, you could take a photo of them and then they would pay you money when they convict them. But we never heard anything else about that. Maybe they thought people would drive and take pictures of other people, but they said if you were passing them, I guess you could see who was taking the picture by which side of the car you were. If you were the driver and you were overtaking, you would see more of your car. So I don't know if that happened or not, but that was kind of a good idea. Steve and Tina say there are free camping for the night for 8 hours on some laybys for safety. That's good. That's really good. Yes. As I say, these airs in Europe are a really good idea. They encourage people to stop driving when it's night or whatever else in the USA. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't know what they do there, so that's good. Really good. Here you don't need that. The island's not big enough to need that. We have campsites. Not very many. I think there's probably 5 maximum on the whole island. You don't need more than that. And obviously lorry drivers, it's not long distance or anything like that. So I don't know what the rules are about stopping. I think they would rather you stopped if you needed to stop for any reason, if you were tired or whatever else. Yeah, I don't really know about that. As I say, we don't need anything like that here. It's too smaller island for anything like that. Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here for today. And I would like to thank you, as always, for being here and supporting my channel, especially when there's so many channels out there and you find time for my little channel. So I really do appreciate that. So I'm going to finish with my quote corner, and I will be here tomorrow on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, and that will be Inspirational Thursday Thoughts. It is a pop-up, so make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, and then you should get flagged up when it begins. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.